Hello, today we are going to make a traditional South Indian recipe using the rich gourds. I should say one of the traditional South Indian recipes. So we harvested some rich gourds from the garden today and have some curry leaves, green chilies, onion and garlic. Main ingredients, it's okay to skip the garlic and it just gives a little additional kick of that taste. And just a small tip on how to tell how fresh the vegetables are. This rich gourd is harvested yesterday and you can tell by how the stem is dry. So, and the freshly harvested gourds are always nice and green and have a lot of moisture in them. So the more longer they sit on the shelf, the more dry the stem gets. So let's go ahead and start making the recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up all of the vegetables as needed. So an information on that, ridge gourd, as the name specifies, has ridges on them, and the cluster ridge gourd does not have visibly big ridges. So we are just going to peel off the ridges gently. I'm not going to scrape off the entire green layer of the vegetable. It's just like gently scraping off all of the gourds wherever I see that the vegetable is tough. This, by the feel of it, like if you can tell, is more spongy, and few of them are kind of a little bit hard. So for the harder ones, maybe I'll just remove a thicker layer of the skin, and for the young ones or say the softer ones, you don't need to remove as much skin. Another thing is that with the ridge gourd, especially with the bigger ridge gourds, it's very important to check the taste, including the pulp and a little bit of the skin put together to check if it is bitter. If it is bitter, we are not going to use the vegetable. If it is slightly sweet, then yes, that's a go-to sign, and then we are going to use the vegetable. So before you chop up the entire vegetable, slice it into half, take a small taste, and you'll know if you can go ahead to cook the ridge gourd or not. Usually cluster ridge gourds do not have that problem. They're always sweet. They do not turn that bitter. And for the longer ridge gourds, the reason that they get bitter is majorly because of the inconsistency in the watering when the plant is just about to put up its flowers. And let's go ahead and start the recipe. There we go, all peeled and cleaned. I peeled them a little more than I usually do, but because my family didn't want the texture of the skin, but you can definitely peel it as less as more depending on your liking. And there we go, got this ready. So going to chop them up and start cooking. There we go, our ingredients are all chopped up and ready to use. I am heating up the wok. I just used about 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons of oil, and I'm going to go ahead and do the tempering. Like for all the recipes, we are using the mustard seeds. They're supposed to splutter. Once they splutter, we go ahead and add our cumin seeds. In this recipe, we are also going to use some split pigeon peas and some black grams. And if you don't have them handy, it is completely okay and optional. They just give a little additional nutritional value because they're pulses and they have their own nutrition in them. So it is optional. It is okay if you don't have them handy. The main flavors and the bigger part of the nutrition comes in from the vegetable. And once these start turning a little golden brown, we are going to go ahead and add the garlic. Now that they browned up, I turned the flame into low and I'm adding garlic and also a good amount of green chilies, and that is all the heat that we are going to get from this. The chilies are the heat that we are going to get for the final dish. And once they cook a little bit, once the garlic starts barely browning like you see, I'm going to go ahead and add the onions and the curry leaves. Once they're added, I'm going to give it a good stir and cover it up. So I'm going to leave it there for about a minute or so, and once it is completely the onions turn translucent, I'm going to go ahead and add the vegetables in there. There the onion has been cooking on medium flame for the last 1 minute. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a good mix. That's nice and good. Turning the flame into low again, and we're going to add some turmeric and some salt to taste. The dish will take very less salt, and you can adjust the salt at the end if needed. So giving that a good mix, and now I'm going to go ahead and add all of the RIDGEGOURD. So the RIDGEGOURD is chopped up as fine as you can. It cooks much faster. The more fine it is, it cooks much faster. No difference in the taste depending on the size of the cut vegetable. So this is going to go in here now. I put in the vegetable and gave it a really good mix, and the most important thing here is to close the lid and cook it on about medium to low flame, and we are going to cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes, mixing in between. RIDGEGOURD stores a lot of water as a vegetable, so it oozes out all of that water and will be cooking in the same steam or the liquids that are oozed out, and that is what we really need. So we're going to close the lid and keep mixing in between and cook it for the next 3 to 4 minutes, and once it comes to the consistency that we like, then we are going to add one more ingredient that brings in a big flavor to this dish. It's been about 2 minutes, and so I'm just going to go check on the dish. Yes, it might take 2 more minutes to cook, or maybe about 3 minutes. Now I'm going to turn the flame into a little low because I want that water to ooze out even more, and then cover the dish. And now it's going to cook for another 2 to 3 minutes, and once the texture of the vegetable is to your liking, you can then call it done. You can dish out and serve then, or wait for our one more magical ingredient to enhance the taste. There we go. It's been 4 minutes since we've been cooking. I took a total of 7 minutes until now for the vegetable to be cooked. You can turn it off anywhere from 3 minutes to 4 minutes, depending on how you like the texture of the vegetable to be. This has been cooking on medium to low flame for the last 7 minutes, and this is the perfect texture that my family enjoys. And there comes that one final ingredient that brings up that taste and nutritional value. Now that we see that most of the water from the vegetable has been soaked in or evaporated, you're going to go ahead and add milk. You can add as much or as little as you like, depending on how you like the consistency of your final dish to be. This is how we like it. We are not going to cook it anymore after we put in the milk, because we don't want the salts from the curry to break down that milk, to curdle that milk. So we're going to go ahead and give it one boil on high flame and turn it off. And now we are going to let this sit for a minute or two and then dish it out. And for anyone who does not want to use milk, then you can go ahead and also use coconut milk. For any reasons that you're vegan or lactose intolerant, coconut milk works amazing too. And this is a South Indian traditional recipe. It tastes delicious on hot rice with a bit of clarified butter or ghee. And let it sit for a minute or two and then dish it out now. And there we go, dished out and ready to eat with hot rice and some ghee. Happy gardening and wish you all a healthy living.